Hey guys, how is everyone? Welcome back. This short little flow is going to be a bit of a choose your own adventure. We're going to be focusing really on all the transitions in between poses, which if you've been following India and I, you know this is something we love to talk to, something we love to teach. There's so much growth to be gained in those spaces in between. Now I'm going to show you one of the options for a transition we have today. Again, it's an option. Like I said, this is a bit of a choose your own adventure. It's going to be, as we move forward from a down facing dog, the option is going to be to cast forward. And what that looks like is we come from a three-legged dog, bend that back leg, move slowly up towards the top of the mat. Optional. Yeah, you can always just step forward, and the chance is going to be to cast back as well. But before we get there, we're going to start off in a comfortable seat. So close down your eyes. You can be sitting in hero's pose with your legs crossed. Just find that gentle seat. Start to drop your right ear to your right shoulder, lengthening through the left side of the neck just for one breath. Back towards center. Drop the left ear to the left shoulder. And back to center. Start to look over the right. You can keep your eyes closed, still lengthening through the spine. And gently take it to the left side. Move back to neutral. Start to drop your chin towards your chest, but imagine there's still a string pulling up your spine towards the sky. Chin lifts up, crown of head moves back. Try and push your chin up. And back to neutral. Start to bring your hands onto the ground. Before we do anything, we're going to warm up through the wrists. So ground down the fingers. We're going to move into some wrist push-ups. Slowly the heel of the hand lifts up. Engaging through the fingers, then gently dropping the palm of the hand to the earth. Take 4 more like this. Now the slower you move here, the more engagement, the more work you're going to get. Slowly down the breath. 2 more. One more. Good. We'll move through a few cat-cows just at your own pace. Drop the belly, start to look up, breathe in. Then round over as you breathe out. 2 more. Really slowly using the whole inhale and the whole exhale. Just 1 more. Start to tuck the toes. Downward facing dog on your next breath out. You can pedal out the legs here if you need to. Keep that same engagement through your wrists. After that pedaling out, start to find some stillness. Ground down through the left hand. You're going to take your right hand, grab the outside of your left ankle. Start to look underneath the left armpit. Still really engage that left side, pushing the other way, but you're getting a little twist here through the thoracic spine. 1 more breath out. Back towards your down dog. Other side, so that left hand to the outside, the right ankle. Twisting, looking underneath the right arm. Back towards that downward facing dog. Find some stillness here. And slowly start to walk hands back towards feet. Change it up a little bit. Land. Ragdoll forward fold. Again, you can pedal out the legs here if you need to. Start to let that head, the chest, the shoulders hang heavy. 1 more breath. Slowly take your time, roll up to standing. Use a breath in so you don't get dizzy, then roll the shoulders back. Take a breath. Over Hastasana, start to rise your hands up as you breathe in. You can take a little bend through the back. If you're feeling warm, then lower, down and forward fold, breathe out. Come to a halfway lift in. Then start to walk the hands back out to that downward facing dog. We're going to move straight into our flow. So take a moment to settle here. And take a breath out together. Start by lifting the left foot, three-legged dog. Breathe in. Bend through the right. Maybe you cast forward, land in a crescent lunge with the right foot forward. So if you step or cast, the right foot is forward. In this crescent lunge, I want you to engage through the core. So think about belly button towards spine. Keep that. Maybe you start to invite a little back bend in, keeping that core engagement. Yeah, now this is early, so I don't want you thinking open up as much as you can. Just a little gentle back. One more big expansive breath in. Skandasana over the left leg as you breathe out the back leg. Now don't worry about depth. You've probably heard this before if you've done our classes. You could be up here building strength. That's better than being all the way down and passive and rounded over. So find your strength at end range. Take one more breath out here. Start to take that left hand fireball, breathe in. So you're high up on the left toe, left fingers are reaching forward, right fingers are reaching back. And that's a really beautiful transition, especially in flow. Make sure this left glute is engaged. Good. One more breath in. Start to ground through that right foot. Revolved stalk as you breathe out. So there's a little windmill of the arms. The left knee is lifted, right arm forward, left arm back. Yeah? So think stalk, lower half, and then you're twisting this thoracic rotation through the upper half. Take one more breath out here. Warrior 3. Arms move forward, that left heel moves back. Yeah, the more engaged you can be through that left heel, the more the lower half is going to stay stable. That right leg doesn't need to be straight. You can have a bend in it. Now comes another option for transition. Take a breath in. Plant the hands, step or cast back, chaturanga. Up dog, breathe in. Downward facing, breathe out. Really good. Move to the other side. The right heel starts to lift, breathe in. We're going to step or cast forward, left foot lands, lift up again. We can start to take a gentle bend. If you're bending through your spine, especially this early, it's really, really important we keep this core engagement. Yeah? We want to create this airbag effect, engage the core so we're not just dumping into the lumbar spine. We want this arch through the spine to be gentle and gradual. We'll take one more big breath in. Skandasana over that right leg. Again, come to a depth where you feel like you're building strength, but you're not just slumping down to create range. One more breath out. Now you take the right arm forward, fireball, breathe in high up on the right toe. Reaching with those right fingertips away from the right heel. One more big breath in. Plant the left foot, windmill the arms. Revolved, stalk pose, reaching forward with the left, back with the right. And you can take your gaze here, wherever's going to most help your balance. Take one more breath out. Warrior 3, breathe in. Keep the right heel really engaged, kicking through that back wall. Try and square off your hips, reaching forward with the right hand. With both hands, sorry. Right and left. Take one more breath in. Plant the hands. Step or cast back, chaturanga. Up dog on the in. Downward facing, breathe out. Now like I said guys, it's a bit of a choose your own adventure. You don't have to cast forward and back. You don't even have to take the Vinyasa flow. You can move straight back to downward facing dog. This is totally up to you. It's your practice. We are going to start to move one breath, one movement. I'm going to go through a few times, so take a breath out together. Left heel slowly towards the sky, three-legged dog, breathe in. Bend through that right leg, cast forward. Crescent lunge, inhale. A little bend through the spine as you breathe in. Keep the core engaged, Skandasana. Breathe out. Fireball, reach forward with the left arm on the in, and keep the hands windmilling, revolve, stalk as you breathe out. Land in Warrior 3, reaching forward with the hands back with that left heel. Plant the hands. Chaturanga, however you need to get there. Up dog in. Downward facing, breathe out. Right heel starts to rise. Bend the knee, cast forward. Crescent lunge, slowly rise up, bend through the spine, Skandasana. Exhale, find your depth. Windmill arms, right arm forward, left arm back. Breathe in. Keep them going, revolve, stalk. Breathe out. Warrior 3, reach forward, hands away from heels on the in, and plant the hands. However, you need to get back on the breath out. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing as you breathe out. Straight away, we're going to go again. Left heel rises up. Bend through the right knee. Crescent lunge on the breath in. Moving slowly. Skandasana, breathe out. All of these poses moving together. Fireball, inhale. Windmill the arms. Keep them going. Revolve to stalk on the breath out. Warrior 3, reaching on the in. Plant the hands. Chaturanga. Up dog, pushing the earth away. Opening through the collarbones, down facing dog. Right heel rises. Bend that knee, cast. Crescent. Use the whole breath. That core engagement to get there, Skandasana. As you breathe out, the right hand moves you forward, fireballing, and you keep the arms flowing to revolve stalk. Warrior 3. Breathe in, plant hands, however you need to get back. Up dog. Pushing the earth away, thighs are engaged. Downward facing dog. As you breathe out. Land in this downward facing dog. Alright, so from this downward facing dog, we're going to be moving towards Malasana, but again we're going to play with this transition. Totally optional, choose your own adventure, it's your practice. But as we come high up on our toes, then bend our knees, we're going to try and float forward and clap our feet. Land softly in Malasana. Good, plant your hands, move back to downward facing dog. We're going to do it again, but this time we're going to try and clap twice. So high up on the toes. Bend the knees, slowly forward, clap, clap, land in Malasana. Alright, one more time, plant the hands, move back. Now as we move forward, we're just going to try and clap the feet as many times as we can. Heels rise, knees bend, forward, clap, clap, clap. Maybe you just stay here and keep clapping, but eventually we land in Malasana. Now the feet claps may not have been for you, that is totally fine. You may have stepped forward. It's a beautiful posture to land in. We're opening up through the hips, we're strengthening through the spine. And this is also going to lead us to our next little transition. So just a few more breaths here. Once you've found that depth, use your elbows to start to take the knees out towards the side. Take one more breath in. We're going to be moving towards lizard. I'm sure a lot of you guys have done this transition before. I want you to try and do it without your hands on the earth. So staying low, grounding that right foot as slowly as you can. Step the left foot back, land in lizard lunge. Good. We're not going to be here for too long. Just start to let the hips sink down and forward. Allow the chest to open up. When you're ready, that left knee drops down. Right toes start to turn out towards the side. Ground down the left hand. Everyone's doing this. The first option is then hand to that right knee. Start to encourage it out towards the side. Or you can reach up and back. Grab a hold of that left foot. Let the hips sink down. Now if you need to, you can bend through that left leg to grab a hold of the foot, but once you've got it, let the hips sink down and forward. The more that happens, the more opening you're going to get through the front of that left leg, through the hip flexors. Take one more breath. Slowly release. Right hand back down. With as little pressure in your hands as you can have, you're going to lift up, maybe totally off the ground. Step forward into Vinyasa. Then we move back. Ground down the left foot with as much control as you can. That right foot steps back. Land in a lizard lunge. It's a fair bit of body control there, yeah? There's so much strength in these transitions. Land in that lizard lunge. Now we want to make sure we're not bending too much through the right knee. We want to engage that right glute, engage through the right leg. Think about bringing your kneecap towards your hips. And then slowly start to drop the knee all the way to the earth. Toes come out, knee goes along with them. Maybe you reach up, grab a hold of that foot. If you want a little more, you can start to pull the foot towards the hips. Keep letting the hips sink down, but keep engaged. You can start to spin the chest open. Just make sure you're not dumping into the front of this right shoulder. Still pushing the earth away. One more breath. Start to release that foot. Hands are going to come up off the earth again. So you can step forward to Vinyasa, then sit down. I'm going to start by bringing the right leg out straight. This left ankle is going to come back towards the hips. If you have a block or a bolster and you want to sit up on it, it's a really, really good option. Especially if you're quite tight through the top of your ankle. Or if you feel any discomfort in your knees, sit up on a block. This may be enough for you here. Like I said, if you've got tight top of your ankles, tight through the front of this left leg, you can stay here. Or you can start to bring your hands behind you. Maybe your elbows come down, maybe you lay down on the floor. Just make sure the knee doesn't come too far up off the ground. But again, find your variation. Everyone's going to be different here. Just a few breaths to open up the front of that left leg. One more breath here. Using those elbows, start to lift yourself back up. Roll to the outside of the right hip. We'll switch over sides. The left leg goes out straight. Right comes in. Guys, remember one side may be totally different to the other. That is all part of it. It's all good. So maybe this depth may be sitting up. Or you can start to lean back, hands, elbows, maybe all the way down. But again, don't get caught up in this is what I look like on one side, I have to look like this on the other. That's not always the case. Just allow this opening to come into the front of that right leg. Any discomfort in the knee, start to take yourself out. Just 2 more breaths here. Elbows lift you back up. Roll to that left outer hip. Spin around. Coming into Sukhasana or a box sit. The left shin parallel with the front of the mat. Right ankles coming on top of the knee or just in front. We want to create this box shape. Yeah, so the legs aren't crossed normally. The shins are pretty far away from the hips. Take your breath in. Lift up through the spine. Maybe this is enough for the outer hips, or start to fold forward. If you can, try and flex your toes here as well. Just 3 more breaths, but every time you breathe out, see if you can release a little bit deeper. Slowly start to lift back up, switch over sides. So now that right shin parallel with the mat, left ankle on top or just in front. Lift up as you breathe in. And start to hinge at the hips so you're taking your chest towards the earth. Two more to release down. Slowly back up. Bring your legs out in front. Paschimottanasana. We're going to take the active variation. So high up on your sitting bones. Length through the spine. We're taking chest towards the toes. We want to keep the lower back as straight as we can. Bend your knees as much as you need here. You do not need to touch your toes. Touching your toes is not going to make you a better person. Once you've found that depth, then you can start to sink down, but still leading with the chest, taking the sitting bones back. So I just want to round over through the spine. I want to keep that activity. One more breath out. Start to roll down onto your back. Hug both knees into your chest. You can roll side to side, little massage. But then keep your shoulders heavy. Let both knees fall over to the right side. Allow this twist, this release. Take 3 long, slow breaths here. Gently back to center, then allow the knees to move to the left side. Try and release as much as you can. Just allow gravity to take over. Gently back to center. Allow your legs to go out long. Arms by your side. Shavasana, final resting pose. Allow this whole practice to settle in. If you must look back at the physical practice, look back with nothing but gratitude. Be grateful for what you were able to do, whatever options, whatever path you chose. Stay here as long as you need. You feel like your physical practice has ended, take a deep breath. Keep your eyes closed, move towards a comfortable seat. When you get there, bring your hands towards your heart. And bow your head. As always, I leave you with what Maharaji left Ram Dass: love everybody, tell the truth. Namaste. Thank you so much, guys, again for joining us. If you have any feedback, any questions, any, requests even, let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. Got some cool stuff coming, so stay tuned. See you guys next time.